Well, here we are, folks. We are about a month away from D23 Expo, and as always, rumors have begun to circulate like crazy about updates to existing attractions, brand new attractions, expansions to lands, and new lands. It's gonna be crazy. I'm hoping this year's D23 is gonna be a good one, because after last time's, I can't. Not again. Now this year, thankfully, we don't have any rumors circulating about a new Tomorrowland at Disneyland or the reopening of the Disneyland People Mover. I don't need to get my hopes up that high again this year, even though I can't stop it. It's getting up there, my hopes. But we do have a couple of rumors relating to my favorite attraction at Disneyland, and one of my favorite attractions at Walt Disney World, the Haunted Mansion. As I'm sure you can have guessed after watching videos on this channel, just in general, I kinda like the Haunted Mansion. And we're at the desk today because I feel like today is a good time for a desk-style video where it's just you and me talking about nothing in particular. In fact, in this case, we're talking about rumors that may or may not exist. That's why we're not in front of the fun wall or the green screen. We're just kind of hanging out today, just me and you, chatting. And I do want to chat, actually, about these Haunted Mansion rumors because some of them are really, really exciting, and some of them make me very nervous and very scared. And I will explain here what those are and what order they are. So let's just hop right in, I guess, with the first rumor, right? The attic scene. The attic scene is getting a little bit of an update, allegedly. Now, I personally love the attic scene. It's iconic. It's the home of the Hatbox Ghost, at least in Anaheim, and the Black Widow / Beating Heart Bride, depending on whatever you want to call her. Constance Hatchaway is up there. Now, if you're up to date on your Haunted Mansion history, you know that Constance wasn't always Constance. She used to be the Beating Heart Bride and had nothing to do with killing men or husbands. She was just a scary ghost bride that sat there in the attic. It's pretty cool, actually. I prefer this animatronic, and that's actually what we're talking about. That was driving me crazy. Was it driving you crazy? Because it sure as heck was driving me crazy. The first rumor that's been sort of proliferating, spreading throughout the social media universe right now, is that Constance Hatchaway is going Constance Hatch away. The Haunted Mansion will be receiving a new animatronic bride. Now, we don't know if it's a return of one of the classic Haunted Mansion brides or a brand new version of Constance's characters. We don't know if it's a character swap or just an animatronic swap, but we do know they are getting rid of the projection animatronics. And I say we do know, as in this rumor says that they are getting rid of the projection face Constance Hatchaway. It's going to be a physical animatronic, much like this classic one that I showed you in the clip beforehand. There won't be any projections going on. It's going to be just a good old-fashioned electric animatronic, and I am actually really, really happy about this change, because if you know me, you know I don't love Constance Hatchaway's face or her effect. It doesn't work for me. I don't know if you get this too, but for some reason when I look at it, I just see a mannequin with a projection on it and a fan blowing the clothes in an ethereal way. It doesn't look very convincing. So hearing that there's going to be a new version of Constance or the bride, that is very encouraging to me. Like I mentioned, though, we don't know what form this is going to take, if this is going to be a brand new character or the same character just with a new animatronic. And also keep in mind that this is only at this point rumored to be for Disneyland's Haunted Mansion, not for Walt Disney World's. Walt Disney World will keep the bride that they have now. They should get rid of the Hatbox Ghost in the hallway, but they're going to probably keep him too. Other than the actual animatronic of Constance changing, though, I don't believe anything else in the attic scene is going to change. The Hatbox Ghost is going to, thankfully, stay where he is, and the Phantom Pianist, all of that, it's going to be there, and the Constance Hatchaway story, I believe in my heart of hearts, is going to stay the way that it is now, just with a new animatronic there at the end to sort of sell it a little bit more than it's being sold now. As this. Now, this of the three rumors we're going to be talking about in this video is my favorite. I'm really, really happy with this. I'm excited to see if they could do anything else with the animatronic. You know what I mean? Like how the Hatbox Ghost's head disappears from his shoulders and appears in his hatbox. Or different animatronics will have something other than just being an animatronic. There's a gag within the animatronic. I want to see if Disney can be creative and do something neat with the new Constance, with the new bride. Maybe put that beating heart back, make it really visible. Make you can see the heart. Constance's beating heart isn't super obvious. You can hear it, but you can't really see it. I'm actually very, very excited to see what form this new bride takes. Unfortunately, that's about where the positivity ends for this video, because we have two other rumors about the Disneyland mansion. Again, Disney World is untouched by this, that have me a bit concerned, a bit upset that they're going to be implemented at all But one of them is not too bad, you know, it could go either way, and the other one is just terrible. So let's talk about the second one, the one that may end up being really, really good, and the one that may end up being just absolute trash and garbage, and I'll see it and I'll get mad, like the Hatbox Ghost in the hallway. Take him out! So for this specific rumor, I want to give a big thank you to my friend over on TikTok, Mr. Unofficial. He is a Mansion fan, just like the rest of us here, so go, I guess it's follow him on TikTok. It's not a subscribe. I had heard the other two rumors in this video, but I hadn't heard about this one until I heard it from Mr. Unofficial. So go check it out. He has a lot more information over there. Anyway, the second of the three rumors we will be discussing today has to do with the stretching room. Now, I love the stretching room. It's a very good way to get acquainted with the feel of the mansion. It's a walkthrough portion of the mansion as well. So it sort of ties back to the history, and you don't have to really like speed through it. You can take your time as much as the cast members will allow you to admire the mansion around you. I just absolutely love the stretching room and the changing portrait hallway. I even got a little gargoyle from the stretching room right here. Look at this little guy. He's from the stretching room, and look at that grin. He's super happy about it. I love the stretching room. Now, if you haven't been in a while, or if you forgot, you enter, the room stretches, the portraits become more and more unsettling and creepy before the ghost host shows you his way out. The lights go out, you look up, and you can see the ghost host swaying from a noose in the rafters. It's very dark, but it's very, very effective. It's a very nice scare that you wouldn't get in any other Disney attraction. It's very unique to the Haunted Mansion. This rumor says that that scene of the ghost host hanging from the rafters in the stretching room is going away. It's going to be completely changed. Not a new ghost host figure, it's going away. It's changing completely. Now, when I first heard this, I said to myself out loud, I said, no, please don't change it. Please, Disney, please, I'm begging you. But upon further reflection, upon further critical thought, I'm actually landing somewhere in the middle. Okay, let me tell you what the changes will entail. Instead of seeing the lights go out and then the ghost host hanging above you, guests will instead see the lights go out and a flock of bats fly overhead through the rafters. Now, the thing with the flock of bats, or I guess the the colony of bats, is it can either be absolutely amazing or completely just terrible and a disgrace to the Haunted Mansion. There's gonna be no in between here. It's like the Hatbox Ghost in the hallway. That one was a disgrace. Hopefully the bats in the Disneyland mansion, because that's the mansion, are treated with a bit more respect. Again, if this ends up coming to fruition, because if the bats flying through the rafters are done practically or with projections on some sort of practical effect, I think it could work actually really nicely. With Disney's new sort of weird 2.5D technology that they use on rides like Mission Breakout or Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway to give the sort of fake illusion of depth, I think it could actually be really, really cool. I think it absolutely has to have practical elements or be completely practical to fit in with the rest of not just the stretching room, but the rest of the Haunted Mansion. If they put I have to calm myself down. If they put a screen up in the rafters like what they do during the Haunted Mansion holiday overlay, let's just say that Casey Jr. becomes my favorite attraction in the park, because the Haunted Mansion screen that they use for holiday is so low quality, it's so bad, the CGI that they use for Jack Skellington is so out of date, it looks absolutely terrible. And if they put a screen and a little gif of bats flying around up there in the rafters, it's wraps. It's a wrap for the Haunted Mansion. If they can desecrate the mansion, and I'm using that word, desecrate the mansion, with a bad screen instead of a practical set up there in the rafters, I think it's cooked. I think it's done. It's over. Let's just go ride Space Mountain instead. Oh wait, that's closed too. Am I using the word desecrate correctly? To treat a sacred place or sacred object shamefully or with great disrespect. Yeah, I'd say that's actually kind of accurate. I'm not saying that this is what will happen. I'm saying that this is what might happen. I'm not in full panic mode yet. I am absolutely preparing for the worst, but I am not expecting the worst. I have a little bit of faith left in Walt Disney Imagineering. I think if they are making changes to the mansion, they know how treasured and beloved and sort of protected this attraction is, so I think they'll end up making the correct call, the right choice. And I know why they're changing it. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty touchy subject, and I don't know if the ghost host necessarily did the suicide. He might have just been killed by some prankish spirits, and that's a pretty messed up prank if you ask me. Like in Phantom Manor, the Phantom is the perpetrator behind the murder that led to the hanging man in the stretching room. It personally doesn't really affect me, and I think it makes sense within the broader picture of the Haunted Mansion, with everything being sort of like a half step or a full step below all-out horror. The ride's not meant to be scary, it's meant to be unnerving, and I think this scene honestly is a really good introduction. You just sort of dive in head first before you get back up into the unnerving aspect of the first half of the ride and then into the fun and funny aspect of the second ride. But I mean, it's not up to me, it's up to Disney at the end of the day. This is the one I would like to know your thoughts on below. Let me know in the comments. Are you against them taking away the hanging man in the stretching room? Or are you, cautiously optimistic like myself if they do end up taking it away? For now, though, at least we'll still have him at Walt Disney World, so, I mean, we'll see what happens. Again, this is all just a rumor. Nobody knows for sure, except for them. They know. Okay, well, those are the basics of the rumor. I think it could go either way. It could either be really good, or it could be really bad and sort of take away from the legacy, the physical sets, the practical effects of the Haunted Mansion. It'll be interesting to see how they end up doing this, if they do end up doing it at all. Now, that one, sort of a mixed bag, but the last rumor we're going to talk about today is only bad. I cannot see this going positively in any way. And, talking about practical effects and physical sets, we are going to go to the end of the attraction now, after the graveyard scene. Everybody loves the graveyard scene, full of the practical animatronics and the scrim and the effects. It's a great time. You pass by the physical hitchhiking ghost animatronics. They look wonderful all the time. And we go past the ghosts following us home scene, where the hitchhiking ghosts hitch a ride in our doom buggy out of the mansion. And they do it a bit differently at Walt Disney World versus at Disneyland, if you don't know. See, at the Magic Kingdom, contrasting with all of the practical animatronics you just rode past, the hitchhiking ghosts at the very, very end of the attraction are actually just screens. They are screens on the other side of that mirror illusion that sort of follow you around, and it looks very bad. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, it just does not look anywhere near as good as the physical animatronics, or I guess figures, that they have at the Disneyland mansion. And the rumor here is that they will be replacing the practical figures, the practical effect, with a screen on the other side of that barrier, just like it is at the Magic Kingdom. This would be a terrible mistake and a giant misstep for the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. Disney, if you're watching this and you have plans for this, I implore you, do not do this. Do not do this, please. I don't know what their reasoning for doing this would be. I don't know if it's cheaper to just have a screen back there standing still all the time instead of having these figures moving around and around all day. It's certainly not as convincing as the current Disneyland effect, and it makes me wonder what they're going to do when the mansion reopens for Haunted Mansion Holiday later this year. Is it going to be the physical sort of prop presence that Lock, Shock, and Barrel will surprise you with, or is that going to be a screen? I suppose we'll find out here relatively soon. Every time I ride past that sequence at the Magic Kingdom, it doesn't look convincing at all. You can see the green hitchhiking ghost and like the red after effects. It doesn't look good at all. I don't like it, and I hope it doesn't come to the Disneyland mansion. I don't know what more I can add besides it doesn't look good and I don't like it. And even in videos, if you've never been on the Magic Kingdom Haunted Mansion, it's not like, oh, I'm filming this screen so it looks bad. It just looks like that. It's not good. If it's a cost-cutting measure, I'm just extremely disappointed in Disney for letting the cost-cutting measures hit the Haunted Mansion of all attractions. And if they think it's more advanced and it looks cooler and it's more high-tech, it's not. Sometimes less is more. And all of this is being done inside the mansion, while the exterior is also closed for the entire queue reimagining, which I have to go on record, and I have gone on record before, in saying that it looks absolutely fantastic. It's been a long time coming for the Haunted Mansion to have a wonderfully themed queue rather than just some metal switchbacks, so that is going to be great. I'm very, very excited for that to open. So while the outside of the mansion is closed, why not spruce up the inside just a little bit? Replace some things, renew some things, change some lighting out. You've got the time to do it. In some cases, why not do it? In other cases, why do it? Please don't do it. I'm begging you, please don't do it. Now, okay, I know the argument that Disneyland is not a museum, okay? Walt said it himself. It will continue to evolve and grow and change as long as there's creativity left in the world. And that's a good thing. I'm not saying that they shouldn't change the Haunted Mansion. That's why I'm excited, if this rumor is true, for this new Bride animatronic figure. That's why I'm excited if they do it correctly for these bats up in the rafters. But there is a problem when you are changing things just for the sake of changing them and actively making them worse. If they're improving the mansion, adding a more convincing animatronic, or removing something that could be hurtful for some people and replacing it with another great effect, that's fine. You're continuing to grow and improve because there's some creativity there. There's some fun you can have in these scenes. If you're taking out figures because it's cheaper to put a screen there, or you think it looks better, it doesn't, that is not creativity. That is changing something for the wrong reasons, whether that reason is the bottom line or to add an interactive effect at the cost of realism. It's just not worth changing. It doesn't meet that, I guess, storytelling quota that Disneyland opened with, and it has done a pretty decent job of keeping up with all of these years. Almost 70 years next year. That's insane. Who's going to the 70th anniversary? I sure am. That's going to be a great time. Can't wait to pay for a ticket to ride this inferior version of the mansion. Now, one more time, everybody, say it along with me. These are just rumors. They could be completely false, and this video means absolutely nothing, but I've heard from a number of sources that there are changes going on inside the mansion, namely the hitchhiking ghost at the end and the bride. So maybe at the end of this, if they don't change the rafters and they just change the hitchhiking ghost at the end for the worse and the bride for the better, is it still the same quality if it goes like this? It's still like averages out in the middle, you know what I'm saying? So maybe this won't be so bad if the hitchhiking ghosts suck at the end and the bride is so much better. Maybe I could be okay with it. Maybe I could eke out a little bit of positivity for this change. Before I end the video though, just know I will be down there in the comments having discussions with people because I want to know what you all think of each of these three rumors. Which ones are you the most excited for? Which ones are you a bit hesitant about? And which ones do you hope are untrue? Do you want the mansion to go unchanged completely? Or are you excited for all of these? I actually want to know what everyone's opinions are down below. And maybe if we make our opinions known, maybe they can, reverse the course if they're already installing the Hitchhiking Ghosts video projectors. You never know. I mean, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't stop, but you never know. But that's about all the info and speculation we have on these changes to the mansion that might be coming in the future. If anybody has any more info, or God forbid, even a picture, feel free to message me on Twitter. You'll be completely anonymous. You have my word. But I mean, it's interesting the way that the mansion is going. A mansion is the epitome of Disneyland for me. It's the best attraction, the best music, the best ambiance, the best queue, all of it. So I'm not super against changes to the mansion. I'm just against bad changes to the mansion. The Hatbox Ghost animatronic in the hallway looks good. He looks great. He's a great Hatbox Ghost animatronic. He just doesn't belong there. He could move somewhere else and I'd be happy. It'd be great. It's just, maybe I'm just being really picky though. Let me know down in the comments like I said. And now we're going to the end card. Again, it's usually down here. I have to go under the desk for this one though. So it's a bit of a climb. Oh, here it is. Hey there, everybody. Thank you for watching this video on 3 different rumors I have been hearing almost nonstop for the past couple of weeks about the Disneyland mansion. Again, none of these are for Walt Disney World. I don't know if they're going to implement these changes over time at Disney World. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but this is just for Disneyland for this video. If you enjoyed this video, you want more rumor roundups, some news roundups, hit the like button, and if you're new around here and you want more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. We would be glad, we'd be blessed, we'd be so happy to have you around. A very big thank you, as always, to my supporters over at patreon.com/offhanddisney. They get early access and exclusive access to certain videos. They actually got access to this video way earlier in the week than they normally did, so they got a little bit of a head start on the general YouTube viewing audience. If you're ever wondering why there are comments and views right when the video goes live, that's why. It's the Patreon supporters. It's just $1 a month. I'm not going to pressure you or anything, but the link is down there in the description if you feel so inclined. If you'd rather follow me for free, though, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, I am at offhanddisney on all of those different websites. Pretty simple. Everyone, thank you all again so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I don't like ragging on Disney too much. I really like to be positive and talk about what they're doing well, but sometimes, you know, with Communicore Hall recently and then these rumors to the mansion, I think it's important to call them out on things that just don't really rub me the right way. I hope you understand. I hope I wasn't too, like, mean during that video, but I suppose what's done is done. There's not a lot anybody can do about it, so I'll see you next week. Goodbye.